What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CanesInSight podcast powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Oh, get my mic right. It is Monday, a victory Monday, which feels good. I know it was a very poor opponent, Syracuse and Stanford. These are some terrible teams. Performances are pretty similar. Lost to SMU after defeating Stanford. You cannot have that same carryover against an NC State team that can score. We'll talk about all that, but recruiting is absolutely on fire. We'll get to some of that news and maybe who's next to commit. Some young guys that we want to see on the field for the Miami Hurricanes and more. For some guys that are always on fire, that's Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you or someone you care about has been injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation. Dial 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Pete, hop in.
D, good morning, man. I got to say, I didn't love the energy you had on yesterday's show. For a guy who is the eternal optimist about this program, I got to say, the energy is weird right now. The energy is super, super off. And it's not from the people inside the building. It's not from the players. It's from us. It's from us. Is making history something that interests you generally? Like, do you personally like to make history? Or like be involved in a situation where history is being made, is on the cusp of being made, is on the verge of being made? Is that something that interests you normally, just generally speaking?
Interests me a lot. And that heading that you put on this show, you're not telling me what the history is. That history in the making, all caps, exclamation point, monumental. So I've been waiting ever since I seen that headline. So
we're sick in the head. We're sick. We're messed up people, man. We are messed up people as Hurricanes fans. I'll tell you what. I'm one happy podcaster this morning because I look at it like this: the Miami Hurricanes are on the verge of doing something that has not been happened in 22 years. 22 years, D. 10 wins in a row. We haven't done this in 22 years. We got to go win these next 3. This is the national championship to me. This is everything to me. Let's go win 10. Let's go stabilize this program. Let's go thank whatever Lord, God, whatever faith you believe in. Let's go thank them that 5-4 Manny Diaz is not our head coach this morning. And let's go make history. D. Miami Hurricanes were projected to win in Vegas last year 9.5 games. What did Mario Cristobal and crew go do? Win 10 games. Miami Hurricanes were scheduled to win 9.5 games this year, over under this year. And is this team primed in position to go do right now? Let's go 3-0. Let's go win 3 more against 3 teams that you should go out there and beat, that you will be favored. What's this? This energy's awful right now. This energy's terrible. And you know what? I like making history. We are on the verge of making history. We are on the cusp of making history. Let's go win 10. Forget the playoff. Let's go win 10, because we haven't done that. We haven't done this back-to-back years in 22 years. We are an egotistical program. We are a narcissistic program. That's what we are in terms of what our expectations are. That's what, for whatever reason, we have these crazy egotistical expectations that have no merit in being. But there is merit in surpassing expectations by the people who really have an unbiased view of what's going on here. So can we go do it 2 years in a row? Let's go 3-0.
Woo! P with the energy this morning. I love it.
22 years, man. Let's stop it.
I'm with you, man. I'll tell you the truth. Maybe I'm contributing to this negative energy. I'm worried about going 1-0. I'm worried about going 1-0 because that NC State team.
1-0 means nothing to me. 3-0 means something to me.
Oh, no doubt. But we got to start with one. I was watching NC State this morning against Georgia Tech. Watched that game front to back, man. CJ Bailey, we know we're fans of his. He can get the ball down the field. They can run. They got skill position. But Pete, listen, I don't want to sidetrack with NC State. You got me fired up right now because
it's just, man, the program as a whole. I'm sorry, because like there's people, and we are victims of it too. We get on here every day. We can say things out of both sides of our mouth, but like every year we have complaints about what's gone on. Defense last year, which was a horror show. Obviously, offensively they were fine last year, but this year. What do we hear every week? The offensive coordinator is terrible. Mario's running things into the ground because of how he wants to run a game. Carson Beck is awful. Man, so they're doing all these things with, look at all these handicaps, and they're still on verge to be there. They're right in the mix, man. We saw what happened this weekend, by the way, in college football. Like, I'm a very realistic person when it comes to this program, D. You know that when Manny Diaz was here and I wasn't in the media, what was I calling you every other day about? This place is a joke right now.
Venting,
big, and I knew what was going on in there because I was around, and I was not happy with what was going on. Hearing the last couple of weeks, and again, I was the first person to say, man, it's on these position coaches to keep this room together. To keep these rooms together, right? I was the first person to say I was concerned about it, not because I didn't think the culture was where it needed to be, but like it's a test. It's a test. You got to pass it in the NIL era. We saw Penn State collapsed with a top 10 talented team in the country. It happens. Florida, the way that they've been collapsing, right? It happens. But Miami has, I think, steady. I know it's only one game, and I know it's against a terrible Syracuse team. But I think the waters are steady right now, and I think they're in the right place to make this run now moving forward and go win 3 games, man, and continue to not be a joke. I don't want to be a joke. I want my floor to be 10 wins. I want my floor to be 9, 10 wins, and I'll say 9 because, like I've said it over the past month or so, I believe this program, D, is a 9 to 10 win program. And you go make a run at it every 2-3 years, every 3-4 years. You know, is this the year that they make the run for it? I don't know, but let's win 10. Let's stabilize this thing that has not been stable in 20 plus years. It hasn't even been close to stable. So I'm very excited, man. I'm really, really happy about how they came out there in that second half and won the game. And I'm looking forward just hearing some things yesterday, man. I'm excited where this team's at. I'm excited where this program is at. And I think they'll get better from what they've experienced.
Pete, I love the energy. I got something for you right here. Okay. See if anyone knows what I'm putting up right here. See that?
Yep.
See that right there? That is our logo in 2001. The Canes were the best team in the history of football. And what's that? Everybody called it. It's supposed to be an ibis and a hurricane. They called it the clam. In honor of Pete being happy as a clam as he clears his throat. One thing about this speech that Pete just gave, this epic speech, Pete is not 100% right now. Pete is banged up. He was almost too sick to be on the show, and he left it all out there to let us know what the history that's about to be made. And, like I said, I'm worried about going 1-0. I think NC State's going to be an extremely tough opponent. I think we play like we played in that first half of that Syracuse game. We're going to be in a heap of trouble. Now, playing like we did in the second half, you got a chance. SMU caught us playing like we did in that first half of the Stanford game, and they beat us, right? So we can't have a repeat of that performance. But, yeah, man, I'm with Pete as far as I'm not changing my expectations.
I went to grab the hat, couldn't find it.
Oh, you're looking for the clam hat. I thought your throat was getting clear.
No.
I told him you weren't even 100%, and you're out here playing injured.
I went to grab the hat, couldn't find it, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got the clam hat somewhere.
Yeah, I have it. I'm good though.
Oh man, yeah, that was awesome, man. Crowd's going crazy. Fence post it says Newcastle getting relegated, Pete.
Yeah, at this rate, man. Sheesh. Get Dan Burn off of fullback, man. But hey, listen, Champions looks great.
There it is, Matthew Owen. Love the Pete after game videos.
The Manny Diaz thing, man, really hilarious to me. You know, Manny Diaz in year 3 won 7 games at Miami. In year 3, Mario won 10. On pace to do it again now. And Manny is in year 2 with one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the entire country, and he's 5-4. So,
yeah, listen, I mean, that comparison, I think, is a favorable one. Obviously, you look at what was left. We only had 1 7-rounder and no other draft picks in 2022. So I agree with that. Now it's about aiming higher and getting to that 10 wins. And, I still think we got a chance to make the playoffs here, but you're only going to do all this if you are 1-8. 4-0 against NC State. So we'll get to that here in a second. P, what do you think? Because we got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, a lot of exciting young players. You want to go with the guys on the team, or you want to go with the recruits? What do you want to start with? Because there's a lot of young talent I want to get to.
Let's start with the team. We're already on it, so.
All right, well, good, because I got one I want to talk about. But first, we're talking about the team. We got to talk about the people that really keep this team rocking and rolling, and will have you recovering your game, and that is UHealth Sports, University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute. If you consider yourself an athlete or just an active guy, you probably know how hard it is to sit on the injured list with pain or injury. Maybe you even try to hack your own rehab. But if compromising your movement or performance is not an option, call the experts at the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute. Whether it's a league competition with Miami Hurricanes athletics or everyday movement, the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute is the trusted choice for those who demand excellence. Set an appointment today at uhealthsports.com. All right. I wanted to get to these young players because we had a great comment from our guy, Duffy's Kirk. Well, I know he's ready to go, that 10-2. He says right here, on number 22, Mercury, Pringle's 20-yard touchdown run. UM pulled 3 linemen to the short side of the field ahead of Pringle, who then turned on the afterburners around the corner. So Kirk, our guy from Duffy's, he said very clear, we need more Pringle. He compared it to Jim Kick and Larry Zonka in 1971. Then you added Mercury Morris to the mix. It became a whole different team, the best team in the history of pro football. Best team in pro football and college football. Both played in the Orange Bowl. How about that? But Pringle was the Mercury Morris of this mix, according to our guy Kirk. We wanted Pringle. We asked for Pringle. Pete, you coined the phrase, once he pops, the fun don't stop. And once he came in, the second half, last game, the fun didn't stop, man. I think Pringle has made a massive, massive impact, and he's someone we got to use going forward.
Yeah, you saw the number one, he runs with patience, right? He's not just, you saw him follow the blocks there and then explode into the open field. He just gives you a completely different look than the other guys in terms of, obviously he's built differently, right? So he's some of these other guys are big targets, man. Marty Brown's a big boy, 220 plus. Mark Fletcher, big boy. Jordan Lyle's not a tiny back either. So it just gives them a different look in terms of speed, quicks, and he's just tough guy to bring down also.
Yeah, I'm gonna play his these are his junior highlights. His senior film was awesome, but he never put it out as a full clip, just to kind of give people an idea of why we're so excited about this young man. We saw it in spurts here, but look at this guy go, man. He is absolutely electrifying. Is quick, is fast. A lot of times you don't have guys that are quick and fast. You have guys that are just fast or they're just quick. They're not both. He gives you both, and he's also a straight line runner as far as he gets upfield. He's not doing a ton of dancing. He sees it, he hits it, one cut and go, but then that go is on extra turbo. He's tough. He can break arm tackles. Not the biggest guy in the world, but he's a real running back. He's not someone they just put a running back. And I think this offense, which is starving for explosive plays, it's starving for chunk runs. You're missing Mark Fletcher, who's been your only really consistent back throughout the year. As far as your only back is getting over 5 yards a carry.
It's not, the highlights are like really laggy right now for me.
All right.
I think some other people are seeing it too, so I would get it off.
All right, let's get this out of here. All right. Well, you saw the touchdowns on Sunday, or on Saturday. But yeah, man, he's an explosive player, and I think he's going to really help our running game and the explosiveness of our running game as he becomes more a factor moving forward. We absolutely need Pringle to be a big part of this thing as we move forward. And Jordan Lyle had a big opportunity. I don't think he performed as well as we would have hoped. I'm a big Lyle fan. I mean, I believe in the kid, but he's not playing very well. And I think Pringle showed you maybe that explosive element that you hoped you get from Lyle. Smaller package, but certainly explosive, 10-5 speed in the 100, 4-3 type runner. There's a reason why you go and recruit these guys to complement the power you already have. I think he brings you that element.
Yeah, and Fletcher's going to be out again next week, so you would expect him to continue to get more touches.
100%. So I think this is, in terms of the young players, this is a guy that we are expecting to play a lot more. Primetime saying Jordan Lyle is still clearly hurt. I just think he's tentative right now. Josh Sarnoff saying, does you remind anyone of a
which could be a product of him still, having lingering effects of the injury. D.
Could be. Josh Sarnoff saying, does he remind anyone of a Warwick Dunn type trying to find a comp for him? I mean, look, any comp you do to like an NFL star is going to be lofty for a guy that's had one solid game against the worst team in the ACC. So you got to always temper these kind of things. I know Miami's pitch to him in recruiting was they wanted to use him like a Jahmyr Gibbs, right? That's his dream. That's who he wants to be, and that's who Miami wants him to be. As far as a guy who's quick and fast, and that Detroit Lions offense is powerful. It's smash mouth, but they have explosive players to complement. Not complement's the wrong word, but to give you another look. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a physical player at receiver. You have their physical backs that they use, Montgomery, all the other guys. Then Jahmyr Gibbs gives you that speed. Jameson Williams gives you that speed. You got the big offensive line. I think that's the goal, is to be that kind of offense. And Pringle in that scenario, I'm not saying he's as good. I'm saying in that dream ideal, hey, this is what we're trying to get to phase, he would be the equivalent of like a Jahmyr Gibbs in that approach.
Yeah. You'd want to get him the ball a lot.
So I want to point this tweet out because Pringle wasn't the only freshman that had a lot of playing time on Saturday. You look here. These are the immediate impact. I'll make this big here. These are the immediate impact true freshmen. 269 snaps against Syracuse. 2 touchdowns, 5 tackles. Here are the names. Malachi Toney has been a star of college football. Bryce Fitzgerald has been a starter all year in that third down package. Josh Moore caught a pass. He's been a factor. Dalen Upshaw, we'll talk about in a second. One of my favorite players, probably my favorite player in the recruiting class. Donta Simpson's played a bunch. Jabari Antoine getting more and more playing time. He's going to be a corner on this team going forward. He's going to be a guy for us. Third, Scroggins. I like how they're calling him third on the graphic. No more Herbert. He's third. He's been playing a lot. Pia, you've been hyping him for a long time. Gerard Pringle, who we mentioned. Chris Ewald got in the action. Very talented player who can also man the nickel. Luka Gilbert, he's been playing as that third tight end. S.J. Alafatuli, the fullback, the biggest fullback we've had in a while. Max Buchanan, I didn't know he got in there. That's interesting. Ezekiel Marcelin, bouncing back from injury, playing well on special teams. And, of course, Kellen Wiley. So a lot of guys getting action here. You still got Hayden Lowe in the bullpen. He'll come back next year. But this freshman class,
his recovery is going well.
That's great to hear. I saw him on the sideline. So you're talking about a lot of freshmen playing for this Miami Hurricane team, a team that historically, at least under Mario Cristobal, has been among the leaders in the nation in terms of playing young guys. So I think that is a very, very good trend that these young guys are playing. But Pete, let's talk about Dalen Upshaw for a second. I had his highlights loaded up. I don't know if they're going to go too slow. But, man, he was extremely.
Maybe that was a quick cut thing last time. Huddle is normally pretty reliable.
All right, let's see if we get the huddle going. But Dalen Upshaw is an extremely talented young man, a guy that was one of my favorite players in the recruiting class. Talked about him all the time just because, I like receivers that are they do it all, right? They're productive in high school. They have strength. They have speed. They can run routes. They have good hands. Just
it's kind of laggy again, man. I don't know. Maybe I can try it. Your internet might be a little off right now for it.
All right, we'll try it again. But yeah, with Upshaw, you watch his high school highlights. This guy's taking screens to the house. He's getting downfield. Watching him in spring, we talked about all the freshman receivers as a group. It wasn't just the Malachi Toney show, really until the end when he started separating. Probably the end of spring is when you saw him really start to separate. But before that, it was very much, the 3 freshman receivers being talked about as a group. Dalen Upshaw made plays in spring, made plays in camp in August. We saw the screen ability with the big explosive play to get us down the field. He has that. He showed that in high school playing for Bo Nix's dad, former Miami offensive coordinator Pat Nix. Let's go, P. Yeah, you got the better connection right now.
Let's see. Let's make sure it works because right now the buffering isn't very good on it either. I only have the first 20 seconds that have buffered. So maybe
there we go. Yeah, we're looking good. There we go.
Right now it is. I can't make any promises on moving forward. It's
no, we're keeping the vibes high here. Your juice is look at it. Clint Beasley says these guys are so fast it's crashing D-Money's internet. There we go. But yeah, man, Upshaw. There's, as you see him get down the field, he showed he could do this at a good level of football. His teammate Cam Coleman, you see what he's doing at Auburn. I like the strength that he plays with, the core strength. Key thing we've talked about with receivers, you need to have some strength. Malachi Tony, very strong receiver. I compared Upshot to an Allen Hurns type, who was another strong receiver. But you see Wildcat, screens, down the field, running the full route tree, getting in and out of his breaks quickly, catching the ball with his hands, working hard. Solid to above average tools across the board. I just think this is a guy that you could trust. The more you play him, I think the more he'll prove that on the field. And there's no one area where he's hurting you. And I think in the screen game where you're looking for someone to complement Tony, you don't have CJ Daniels. Hopefully you get him back this week, but he's been a guy that's helped you on the screens when Tony's not getting the screens. I think Upshaw, even more so than Trader, is somebody who can catch and run because of his strength and his ability to get a top speed quickly. He's not going to get the jukes maybe the Trader will get, but I just think the way this guy gets upfield, the strength and the first step explosiveness fits our screen game well. And I think that's something we can find going forward. Look how quickly he gets the top speed right there on a ball that was thrown behind him. You saw that burst on the long catch and run against Syracuse. This guy could really open up our receiving core. Not saying he's going to be like our number one receiver right away, but you need guys to take the pressure off Tony, and you need guys with some burst to make explosive plays. I like Upshaw. This is not just a one-stop thing. We've been saying for a couple of weeks, who do you want to see get more opportunities? And we said on the show.
I think we mentioned him on Saturday when we were at the Licking doing the show.
We did, and Pringle.
And Pringle, both of them, yeah.
That's not for no reason. I mean, these guys were great high school players. They had made plays in spring. Pringle was banged up a little bit, so you didn't see him until later. But these guys have made plays throughout the offseason. They've been working hard, and we need explosive plays, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he looked good. Yeah, how about on that play? I was rewatching the game this morning, and Markel Bell did get beat earlier in the game off the edge, but he got out in front of that one, man.
Big time. And you see Brockermeyer, who's, he's been much maligned, and some of that deserved, but man, he knocked someone dead on that play too. That was a great play. But we haven't had ability to throw screens to anybody besides Malachi, other than CJ Daniels a little bit in the FSU game. But since then, it's just been Malachi or bust, and teams know when Malachi's getting the ball, so we got to get them a different look.
Yeah, and Malachi, he definitely moves the chains on them, but this looked like Upshaw looked like he had some more speed to him than I think people realized.
Yeah, again, we're watching his high school highlights. This is real football. This is Phoenix City, Alabama. This is where Cam Coleman's from. They're on the same team. This is a good football program. There's a good level of competition, good coaching in Alabama. And Upshaw was doing this consistently. He was extremely productive. Short passes, taking him for a long way, getting down the field. I mean, he's not going to run a 4.3, but he's not a possession receiver. So I think, but he can possess the ball, right? He can get open. He catches the ball in his hands. He's strong. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm a big fan of Upshaw. You talk about all those freshmen that are playing. He's one. I know you like some of these young defensive linemen getting run, though, Pete.
Well, I got to say, man, shout out to Justin Scott. We've had some comments about it. And I'll just quick anecdote. Coming out of camp right into the season, I was talking to someone around the team with him, and they basically told me about him. Look, we love the talent, but I wish I could just look that guy in the face and wake him up and shake him and say, "What are you doing? Let's go." It's like you need to bring it every day, because the consistency day in, day out wasn't there. He definitely put really good weight on D, but there was still that feeling of, which happens with young defensive linemen sometimes. These guys sometimes are not ready-made products. Physically and athletically, he was always going to get there because of the athlete that he was. And if he ate right and lifted and did all that, he was going to get to where he needed to be. But it was more about getting that basketball mentality out of him. I used that a lot. And I think really he carried that into camp with him. And for some reason now, with more snaps, more trust going into him the last month or so, that light bulb seems to have gone off. But again, that anecdote, that the person I talked to said, I just want to grab him and shake him and wake him up, because it's he's good, but he wasn't there yet. And I think you really want to see him finish the season out strong. But if he does that, you can count on him next year. You can count him as one of your guys. And to tell you the truth, D, after the first month of the season, I was still hey, let's see. I had him almost in the same. I said this on the show. To me, he was almost like JoJo on defense, because he really wasn't playing that much. There was one of those games he played 5 snaps, maybe Florida State. I might be making that up, but one of those games he didn't play that many snaps. A few of those games. So yeah, man, I think he's someone who you got to give a lot of credit to. He's taken a big leap here the last few weeks.
No doubt about it. I'm glad you brought him up. We were going to talk about him as far as young players, not just the freshmen, although you did see Dante Simpson playing as well. But I think with the injuries we've had, and I'm not complaining about him. I don't think we've had unusual amount of injuries. This happens all over the country. I think, honestly, we've been pretty healthy until the last couple of weeks relative to the rest of the country. But when Amon Moten goes down, who's been playing really, really good, now Justin Scott, you got to play, right? You got to see what you got. Or we're moving on to Dante Simpson taking all your reps. And you saw him step up and play like a 5-star. Defensive tackle, that is a position that takes some time. I had an SEC coach. I always use this cliche, but it was such a funny one. He said, I need my defensive tackles to have mustaches, right? They got to develop into it. He was a basketball kid, Justin Scott, got to Miami late, did not have spring because his team did not allow him to graduate early. So it's been a process for him, and now you see him have some success. Syracuse is a bad team, but that confidence, I think, is going to help him down the road as he continues to fulfill his potential. And really, I was taking a look at the class of 2024, right? This was the top 5 class that Miami signed, the only top 5 class Miami signed under Cristobal so far.
Say it louder.
But then you look at the offensive side of that class. Jordan Lyle, you thought was going to be a key guy on this team. He took the first snap against Notre Dame. We know he's been struggling, injury and then just underperformance since he's been back. Elijah Lofton, I was the number 1 hype guy on him. I think other people that were at practice were echoing what I was saying. The guy was really tearing up our defense, has not been anywhere close to the same player during the season, hurting us blocking, hurting us. He's just not really producing at tight end, which is a position that's been a weakness for Miami this year. And then JoJo Trader, a lot's been said about him. Still have hope he can get it going, but he's been uneven, to say the least. So those are really your 3 2024 players that you were counting on to carry this offense. And in fact, they're just not producing at the current moment. Other than that, on offense in 2024, I mean, Judd Anderson's not playing. Your Chance Robinson and Ikar not playing. The running back in that 24 class was Lyle and Wheatley Humphrey, neither of which are Lyle not playing very well. Wheatley Humphrey not playing as much. So you're not getting a lot. The offensive linemen aren't a factor. You're not getting much on offense from that class, which is a top 5 class. Defensively, I think you're getting a little more. OJ Frederic, freshman All-America, he's a starting corner, injured right now, but we know he's one of the better corners in the ACC. You're starting to see Justin Scott play like that 5-star. Armando Blunt's getting a lot of time. I think he's going to be a really, really good player. Marquise Lightfoot made some mistakes. Obviously, the penalty against SMU, the biggest one of the year, but caused that pick 6 with a nice spin move and a pressure that led to the Keontae Scott pick 6. That was really Marquise Lightfoot's pressure. He's been playing hard and playing well. So I think you're seeing the 2024 defensive blue chips start to help you, whereas the 2024 offensive blue chippers not performing at the same level. And then who steps in when the 2024 offensive guys aren't doing as well? Malachi Toney, Josh Moore, Dalen Upshaw, all 2025 receivers. Gerard Pringle, 2025 running back. Maybe Luka Gilbert makes a push here. Who knows? But I think that those are some of the guys you're looking at from that class.
Yeah, I'm excited about the young tight ends. Ron, the man, mentioning Bob Pruitt got in there and made some plays. Dylan Day looked violent there near the end of the game, right before Syracuse scored. And D, I mean, look, guys will transfer. You're going to lose guys. It's portal. But I really have to say, I'm getting an early sense that a lot of these guys who have become good depth pieces for Miami are in a good position to stay and really earn becoming full-time starters next year.
100%. I think you look at the portal. There's only one portal period. So you can't just have all these guys and then see what you need in the spring and then go shopping again. That's not how it works. So I think you got to take a lot of guys in the first portal period because you just got to have backup in case guys get hurt. But you also have to put some faith. Hey, who is the guy who's not playing right now that we trust is going to develop into someone that we can count on? Dylan Day, I would put in that category for sure. Jabari Antoine. I think the defensive backs in general, I think you're in pretty good shape. It's more about keeping guys, quite frankly, than adding guys. Linebacker, do you trust the Kellen Wiley to be a starter next year? Do you trust the Bobby Pruitt, who's more of a safety / linebacker, to play a bigger role? You saw him play some important snaps on Saturday, more than he's done in the past. I hope to see that continue against a CJ Bailey that can run. Who's going to be, like you said, those depth pieces that haven't played a ton, but that you're counting on to be there for you? Because just replacing everybody in the portal, you had Keontae Scott, Jacoby Thomas, a bunch of other guys in the spring portal period, Keelan Marion on offense. You're not going to get those guys at this time of year anymore. It's going to be the guys that you already have.
Yeah, and I think just generally speaking, sorry, D, my voice is
you're playing hurt. That's why that rant at the beginning is so epic.
But I get the sense too, a lot of the portal work will be guys who Miami had previous relationships with in the high school recruiting. Because of just the way that it's set up this year with the one window, and the fact that you're going to have done a lot of this research previously, which I know that obviously there's people in the building that are there doing that already on potential entrants that they may not know from the high school side. But yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of old connections kind of make their way back.
And I like the sign of that. I mean, that's kind of how the portal's been working, right? Like an Xavier Lucas coming back. Some new names for sure, but you do see that.
Hey, listen, yes and no. There's some guys like Marty Brown had zero ties to Miami before any of it. I mean, you're gonna have guys who listen. There's gonna be coaching movement. Well, we can say it, right? That's just naturally gonna happen. Does like Keontae Scott's not gonna be at Miami, not at Miami this year if Zach Etheridge doesn't make his way to Miami. So there will be, even though again it is a tighter window. So maybe a bit less of that, but something to watch.
No, I'm with you. But in general, you're going to need these young guys to play and be part of this program going forward. I think that's the key. I mean, look at, again, just on the defensive side, you got one of the best defenses in the country. I think we could all agree a top 10 defense nationally by pretty much most metrics. You need Blunt, Lightfoot, Scott, Scroggins, Hayden Lowe when he comes back, Dante Simpson, who's played, Kellen Wiley, Ezekiel Marcelin, maybe. You saw him play on special teams. The safeties, the Bryce Fitzgeralds, the Dylan Days, Jabari Antoines. You need those guys to really continue to take steps forward. Bobby Pruitt. I'm sure I'm forgetting people. Then on offense, this offense needs to be more explosive. That's why we've talked about Pringle so much. That's why we talked about Upshaw so much. Can Josh Moore step up during these next 3 games and beyond to show that he is the X receiver going forward? You don't need to bring somebody in to play that role. I think that's going to be something to watch. But I think in general, man, the young players, we saw it against Syracuse. We're going to see it against better teams, which is basically every team left on the schedule because every team is better than Syracuse. We're going to see those teams challenge us, challenge our depth, and we need these young guys to step up and do their thing. But encouraging day, I think, at Syracuse, as far as that part of it, and seeing all these young guys perform and get on the field. Because what we need, particularly explosive plays, some of those young guys can provide.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing here with these injuries, right? You got a lot of guys out, got a lot of guys that are still going to be missing here moving forward. Fletcher, Daniels, Tony Johnson, looks like as well. So these opportunities will be there.
No doubt about it. So let's switch gears here to recruiting. But first, want to switch gears to, I know Kirk Reagan's favorite spot. Kirk Reagan Menendez. I'm sorry. Kirk Reagan Menendez. I know his favorite spot, as he's in the comments, is Duffy's Tavern, right there on the edge of Coral Gables, the home of the Hurricanes, 60-plus years, rocking and rolling. Shout out to Jose, who runs it, although his son goes to NC State, so hopefully he doesn't have divided loyalties. But I'll be out there at the Duffy's Tavern sometime this week. We'll do our show out there. I'll be out there just for some lunch. I know that's me and Pete's kind of de facto lunch spot lately. Pete's been there. That's Pete's de facto lunch spot every day at Duffy's Tavern. 60-plus years, now accepting credit cards, the home of the Hurricanes. They got the classics on the menu, plus some new stuff to make sure that they are on the cutting edge all the TVs you can ever ask for, basketball, NFL, Monday Night Football, whatever it is, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Football. And then, of course, the games on Saturday. They got it at Duffy's Tavern, the home of the Hurricanes. Look at
Yes. Next question, Joshua.
Wait, hold on. Are you worried about guys like Tony leaving us in the portal like Zay Horton did this offseason? I'm worried. Worried's the wrong word. Listen, here's what I'll say, Pete. Malachi
teams are going to make a run at him, and Miami's going to have to retain him and do whatever they need to do to retain him. But yeah, teams will make a run at him. Zay Horton, I'll say this again. He wanted to go play with Ty Simpson. I think that's turned out for him to be a good decision. That was his buddy from high school. He knew he was going to be the guy. He wanted to play with him. Miami did not have a quarterback. Miami did not lose that one because of money. The Tony one, worry, you're right, D, is a strong word. But, like, was it a concern that they could lose Ruben Bain last offseason? Yeah. Like, yes. Like, that's any of your best players that you want to keep and retain. That's going to be something. So, yes, I think it will be something.
I think the Bain comparison is a good one because Bain's highly compensated and he is worth it. So I think Mally's in the category of he's a homegrown guy. He's got the Gabos. You saw him on DJ Khaled's Instagram with the Gabos. By the way, Jay Money, my son, was on the Instagram too. In fact, let me pull that up here, Pete. I got to pull up my guy Jay Money. See if you can figure out which one's the D Money offspring in this picture here with the playmaker Mike Irvin. He was rocking and rolling at this game. Big J Money. So let's see if the crowd can figure out which one's which here as we go to Instagram. See if you could find the D Money offspring in this picture. Let's see. Who's got I gotta say, this little guy in the bottom left, my man Alam, he's kind of got the similar hair too. But yeah, my guy right here, Jay Money, in the middle, meeting the playmaker. He's been studying the Canes because he saw Irvin on the sideline. He goes, "It's Michael Irvin. It's the playmaker." I was not on the sideline. I was sitting there with everybody else. Dr. Money was out there on the sidelines balling. I was out there slumming it with the Canes fans, with the CanesInSight fans, dapping everybody up. Everybody else is living the celebrity life. So
I gotta say, I'm glad Mike is back to his shirt there.
What was he wearing before?
Some made on green tree shirt, but this shirt right here is what he was wearing for most of last season. So
yeah, well, let's get the luck going here. Shout out to the Khaled family. Jay Money enjoyed his experience down there. He always, every time he like people start to talk to me, like if I got followers on these shows and stuff, he's always like putting me in my place. He's like, "You got no followers, man. Look at these guys. These guys got like 36 million followers. Who are you?" So he's always checking me with that. Real quick before we get to this recruiting stuff, Pete, I want to see what you think about NC State, just what they bring to the table. We're going to have some more detailed breakdowns on NC State, but what are you seeing with this game? And like, just what are your thoughts? We're going to get into much more detail, but just your initial thoughts.
That Miami should win this one by 3 scores, 17, 21 points. I don't really see the concern that you see. You were very concerned, you're very worried yesterday on the pregame show. I mean, I trust this defense. We keep talking about they can put up points, they can put up points. We'll see. I trust I like the spot that Miami's defense is in right now. Could they come out and score? I think the concern becomes, hey, they go out and score 10-14 early. You fall behind like you did against Louisville, and you start having to chase the game a little bit. But I think Miami's defense, we talk so much about the offense and the offense's issues. Let's talk about the defense. Let's talk about the positives there. I think they do a very good job in this one. I think they contain Bailey. He'll have some explosive plays. But early on, I'm not seeing the same concern you are, just because I have a very strong belief in what this defense is. I think part of that is seeing how Akeem Mesidor came out last week. He looked really healthy last week, which I didn't necessarily know how he would look after. Quite frankly, it just didn't seem to be there against SMU. But yeah, I feel good about Miami in this game.
I hope you're right, man. It's gonna be a big one.
No, D, you have flipped. You've flipped the script, man. The energy is just gone from you. It's crazy. Do you know something that we don't?
No, listen. I always got energy, man. I'm just, I watch NC State a lot because
now you respect the opponent.
Well, maybe it's for the best because I've disrespected opponents that have killed us. So, maybe it's for the best, and I'm gonna be dead wrong on this one. But I've watched a lot of NC State, because we're a tampering podcast, as you know. So I've seen them a lot, and they got some really good skill guys. Their tight end's very, very good. Jolly, I know you're familiar with him, and you talked about him a bunch. Their left tackle Peak is going to go NFL. Their running game's good with Scott and with Hollywood Smothers. They got some decent receivers that can make plays. Teddy Hoffman, local guy, that's basically like this year's. Yeah, like Restrepo. Then he was like last year's Restrepo, and then I guess Jason Lopez this year's version. But Teddy Hoffman has that kind of game. True freshman making plays for NC State. Caught a long touchdown against Georgia Tech last week. Noah Rogers, I believe Ohio State transfer, can get open, catch the ball. Anderson, their big play guy, I think he was a former 4-star that they signed out of high school. So they got guys. But like you said, I trust our defense. To me, it's more about our offense's ability to put up 30 plus. If that happens, I think we'll be in okay shape.
The other thing too is like, not saying they shouldn't have been up for the games that they lost, but I feel like this is a game they will get up for. I think these last 3 games, now they lose this one. I don't know how that affects the next 2. But like I'm telling you, based on what I know right now, based on what I've heard, what's going on in the building, they're in a really good spot here from a mental standpoint, knowing what can be accomplished here if they win the next 3. So I know we say 1 week at a time, but I think this team is ready to approach these last 3 games the way they did the first month of the season. And we can't underestimate the power of them coming out ready to go. I was in Dallas. The energy was dead. I know they still had a lead at halftime, but it just wasn't there pregame there. That 11 o'clock start, the weather being what it was, all that. And you can call these excuses, but I'm telling you what I think the reality of the situation is. Louisville, you yourself criticized the student section in that one. A lot of people who were at the game, I did not attend that one. I don't attend the home games. Really, everyone kind of went out of their way to say the energy, the fun was not in the building that night until kind of you get that fumble recovery late in the game. I think this is one that the team will be up for against the CJ. They've heard they're going to hear it all week. Oh, this kid's coming home. Big talent. All of that. I think they're coming out ready here, and I think Miami wins this one pretty easily.
Oh, hope you're right, man. I think Miami wins, and I love the juice you're bringing. By the way, we almost got 1,300 on. It's amazing. You get a little win going. People tend to boycott when we lose. I know there's a lot of people in the comments and people in the chat who are going to say, yeah, that's me. A lot of people just boycott when we lose, and I do the same thing. They go cold turkey after a loss. They can't listen to any college football content. They need to get on that winning side of the thing to change their energy. So I feel the energy coming back with Pete, with the chat. We got 1,300 on.
My energy's been level. I'm telling you, like my energy's been level this entire time. I knew what we were early in the season, D. That Florida State game showed me what we were. We were not a team that could go undefeated. This was not that team. This was not a national championship level team. Let's go win 10.
Sean Joseph David says, loving Miami is a toxic relationship. It's been an abusive relationship for 20 years.
22.
So it's been picking up. Jojo Gunn, better crowd than I expected last Saturday. Yep. And shout out to the students. I ripped the students for Louisville on the Friday, but on that Saturday against Syracuse, they carried us, man. They carried us. That was a good student section. That 306